Hello and welcome to Family Movie Collaboration, the show where I review family movies both current and nostalgic, but not too nostalgic. We all remember the classic Disney and Pixar movie, Cars. Right out of the mind of John Lasseter himself, this movie actually has a great story, characters that are outstanding, and the animation was nicely detailed. Sure, it's not one of Pixar's best films, but it does show us how each Pixar movie, such as Toy Story, A Bug's Life, The Incredibles, and many others, can be a really great Pixar movie. Cars 2, that came out 5 years later, was not only a great return of the characters in the first film, but it just so happens to be Pixar's first attempt to release a box office bomb. True, it's not a spectacular film, but it is a great return of our favorite characters, along with bringing in some new characters, much like Toy Story 2 and 3, most recently Monsters University, and soon to be Finding Dory. But the number one question that everyone has been asking is, are we going to see something related to these two movies? Well, lots of you are in luck, since after the Cars franchise has become a big hit for the past 7 years, Disney Toon Studios has released a spin-off of the Cars movies, simply known as Planes. From the mind of John Lasseter himself, this movie is somehow related to Cars, but it's completely different from that. As you find yourself looking at it closer, you are not seeing of how this movie is not well written, not well acted, and not how developed the characters are really. Now, since this movie already came out in theaters, I'm not gonna spoil it for people who haven't seen it yet. So, if I'm gonna suffer through this movie, then you're gonna suffer through it with me. Let's take a look. A crop duster named Dusty Crophopper dreams about being a very talented racer, but no one actually believed him because of the type of plane he is. So, when he heard the news about a race called the Race Around the World, he decided to sign up and take part in it. But there's only one problem.
I'm afraid of heights.
Yeah. That. So him, along with his new racing friends, are now on the Race Around the World, all while trying to stop 3-time winner Rip Slinger from stopping Dusty from winning the race. So, what are my thoughts on the movie? Well, I would like to say, unlike any other movie, this movie has a lot of purpose that can really guarantee to make lots of people enjoy it. And in the end, this movie truly is the most— oh, who am I kidding? That movie was horrible! Yeah, you heard right! I did not like this movie! The acting is terrible, the animation is sloppy, and the editing is way too out of control! But enough of me talking, let's move on of how this movie was made. Since after the Cars franchise has become a big success when it first started back in 2006, plans were made for a spin-off franchise based on the Cars movies. The concept of the movie was done by John Lasseter himself. Odd? Despite for the fact that this movie is not produced by Pixar, John Lasseter is not the only one who wrote the movie, but also Jeffrey M. Howard and the film's director, Clay Hall, also wrote the script for the movie. It was originally going to be a direct-to-DVD movie in the fall of 2013, while having a theatrical release in Europe. But Disney decided that it would be good as a theatrical movie in North America, since after 8.5 years after Pooh's Heffalump movie did the same thing. And we all know how well that turned out!
Like we said, no place is perfect.
I mean, if it was originally going to be a direct-to-DVD movie, it should stay a direct-to-DVD movie. Well, apart from what I just said, what about the voice acting? Well, I'll tell ya. Our main hero, Dusty, was originally going to be voiced by Jon Cryer, but later dropped out of production and was replaced by Dan Cook. Roger Craig Smith as the villain, Ripslinger, John Cleese, the director of The Croods, as Bulldog. Wait, what? Carlos Alazaraquin as El Chupacabra, and, oh, Dom! Gosh darn it, Cedric the Entertainer! You're a talented actor! Why are you choosing so many bad movies? I mean, you had a lot of good movies that you've done in the past and soon to be in the future, but this? This is one movie that you signed up for? This is the movie that you could ever do? This movie is the best idea that you could... Gosh darn it, I can't take it anymore! This movie is horrid! This is the most horrid movie that I've ever reviewed in my life! I'm sorry, but this movie is horrible! I don't blame the people who actually like this, but to me, the acting is terrible, the writing is not so well, the animation is sloppy, and the editing is way too out of control. If it was originally going to be a direct-to-DVD movie, it should stay like that, not make it into a theatrical movie instead. I'm gonna give this movie a 2.5 out of 10. I mean, unlike any other bad movie that I reviewed before, this one is just something that anyone else can do. I mean, can you guys imagine a movie that could basically rip off this movie in general?
Josh Duhamel, Hilary Duff, Rob Schneider, Jesse McCartney, and Tom Skerritt. Wings.
From here on out, Dodo is your co-pilot. Whoa, I need a new pair of underwear.
I'm afraid of heights.